dear students, welcome back. In today's lesson, we will also be talking about passive voice. We will giving more examples and study more detailed because passive voice is a very confusing topic generally for students, and we will also be studying passive voice second form. Now, in the last lesson, we said that we use passive voice when we are talking about when we use the verbs say, think, know, predict. Let's give more examples because it's a little bit more complicated than the others. In ancient times, people thought that Earth was flat. This is my active sentence. I gave a time phrase in the beginning of my sentence. This is my subject. This is my verb in verb to form. I have that. It represents my object, and inside of my that clause, there's also one more sentence. But what is my actual object in main clause is that in ancient times, here, it was thought that the Earth was flat. I'm going to give complicated, not in order, examples. For example, now I will give model. Your bathroom should be cleaned. This is an advice, suggestion, also a passive sentence. Your bathroom is my object, and I have my modal verb after it and my be verb 3 form after that. You should get your eye checked. It looks red. Now, till here, you should get. It's not a passive one, but you should get your eye checked. And here, my eye, it is used with get and verb 3. And this means that the eye should be checked. It gives this meaning, and as meaning, it is a passive sentence. Scientists predict that we will have no water in 20 years. In this sentence, again, I see the exact same form, a verb, and after there is that, and a that clause in this sentence. Scientists predict that. They predict what? It is predicted that we will have no water in 20 years by scientists. Here, the only parts I made passive in that sentence actually is here. Scientists predict that, it is predicted that. The rest of the sentence is the same. The objects stayed the same. Apples are known to be good for example, skin. This time, this is passive, and I'm going to rewrite this sentence in active voice. Apples are known. I'm talking about a common knowledge. So I will say, everyone knows that apples are good for skin. I said that this is a common knowledge, which means everyone knows it. I wrote that, and I will write my that clause, my full object there. Bread shouldn't be consumed too much. Again, I started with passive voice form of the sentence, and I will rewrite it in active form. Bread shouldn't be consumed too much. What I'm trying to say is that you shouldn't. You shouldn't consume bread too much. Curtains are said to be harmful since, or I will say dark curtains are said to be harmful since they don't trespass sunlight. Okay, this is a longer one, but what is my object here? Dark curtains. So I will start with are said to be. Someone said this information. I will start with subject. I don't know who, but someone said it. They say that curtains are harmful since they don't transpass sunlight. Latin alphabet was first used in, I don't know, 95 BC. This is passive because Latin alphabet is object of this sentence. They used Latin alphabet in 95 BCE the first time. School mustn't be hard on the students. I'm talking about an active sentence in this example. School is the subject who actually makes the verb of the sentence, the action of the sentence, but we're talking about a strong advice, suggestion here, and it affects the object. So I'm taking the object to the beginning of my sentence. Students mustn't be hard on by the school. You can add this, but it's your choice, but it would be better if you added it. Watermelon should be washed well before eating it. Now, this is my passive sentence. Watermelon should be washed. I'm talking about something that someone actually should do this action because watermelon cannot wash itself. And I'm giving a suggestion here. I used a modal verb right after my object/subject and then be verb 3 form. Since this is a regular verb, I only added ed. So how can I rewrite this sentence in active voice? I'm giving a suggestion, advice, so I can say you should wash a watermelon well before, I can say before you eat it or before eating it. They are both correct and you can say both of them. Prisoners or guards mustn't let prisoners, why I cannot spell this, prisoners fight. Now, I'm talking about an obligation and a rule in this sentence. And to give that meaning in the passive voice, I can say prisoners aren't allowed to fight by the guards. This is obviously a rule, so actually I do not necessarily have to add by the guards at the end of the sentence because it already gives the meaning, the obligation meaning on its own before adding by the guards. Looking at here, I didn't use the same verb actually in here, but although I didn't use the same verb, it doesn't mean that I didn't give the same meaning. I obviously make the sentence who gave the same meaning. Prisoners aren't allowed to fight by the guards. Thieves should be punished by the judge. This is my passive voice. The judge actually is the subject of this sentence, and thieves, objects, should be punished. I use modal verb, and this is my actual verb. The judge should punish the thieves. This is a sentence in present simple, but I want to use both modal verbs in passive voice and also I want to use it in past tense. Past tense and modal verbs. For example, they must have both that jackets. This is active. Object, that jacket, object, must have both. It gives me the meaning of it's in past, and they is my subject. As usual, I will start with my object, that jacket. Then my modal verb, must. I'm not going to use have. Instead, I will say has, because this is singular. Has been bought by them. Now here, what we did different is that we added actually only been. The rest of it is the same. You could have guessed it actually. And it was once thought that animals were spirits. By the way, I want to draw your attention onto something else as well, because I used past simple here, and I have one more mini sentence, that close sentence in here, and there should be a harmony of time. That's why I use also past simple tense in that close, because as I said, there should be a harmony between them. This should be equal as tense to main clause. So this is the passive voice, and I will write it on active. It was once thought that animals were spirits. I'm talking about a general knowledge that belongs to the past. So I will use everyone as my object. Everyone thought. I can put once into the beginning of my sentence as well. Once, comma, everyone thought that animals were spirits. Einstein had invented, let's say, physics. This is active. I'm going to rewrite it using passive voice. Physics, because this is my object, this is my subject, and this is my verb. Physics, I see past perfect. That's why I will use had been invented by Einstein. All the students must have security numbers. This is an exception we're talking about. We actually explained it. We talked about the verbs that cannot get objects, and that's why they can't be used in passive voice. And have, which means belong, in the meaning of belong, owning, it cannot get passive. So there's not such thing as this is correct, but this is not the one I will be writing right now. Security numbers must be had by students. This is completely wrong. There is no such thing in English. We don't use have while we're talking about passive voice. when we're using it in the meaning of own, belong. This is also a transactive verb. Your bedroom must be changed because we will renovate it. Now, I have two sentences. First one is passive, the second one is active. And I will rewrite them and actually exchange them. Your bedroom must be changed. So I can say, you must change your bedroom because we will renovate it. Because it will be renovated. I did passive one active and the active one passive. Journalists say that we should be more careful with our, or I can directly say with environments. Again, in this example, I have a that clause also, and I have a main clause. What I will start with is that it is said that we should be more careful with the environment by the journalists. Your sister shouldn't be bothered. She is sleeping. Your sister shouldn't be bothered. I'm talking about a passive one, a passive sentence here, and here an active one. So I can say you shouldn't, or no one should bother your sister. I did this in active voice. She's sleeping. Sleep is also a transactive verb. It cannot get objects after it. That's why I cannot rewrite this sentence in passive voice. shouldn't have left him. He is my object in the sentence. He shouldn't have been left. I added been because in here I used shouldn't have left, and been here added the meaning of passive voice. Valentine's Day is celebrated every year on, I can't remember the dates. Okay, let's just say every year. This is a passive voice, or I can say every year all over the world. All over the world. All or everyone. Every year by everyone. In order to rewrite the sentence in active voice, I am going to take my subject and put it in the beginning of my sentence. Everyone, this is in present simple. The tense in the sentence is present simple. Everyone celebrates. This is singular. That's why I used as. Celebrates Valentine's Day every year. She is painting her wall now. This is present progressive, and the object of this sentence is her wall. Her wall is being painted now. That car is going fast. For example, this sentence cannot be rewritten in passive voice either, because I don't have an object. And even if I did, like is going, that car is going, for example, to mall. Even if I had an object like that in that sentence, I cannot rewrite that sentence in passive voice, because go, the verb go, is also a transactive verb. For example, I just said a sentence. I said this sentence cannot be written in a passive voice. This sentence on its own is actually passive voice too, because this sentence is the actually object of the sentence. I used modal can't, be verb 3, and passive voice I added a place. Okay, that's it for today, guys. This has been a short lesson, but I think that we have studied passive voice enough. I hope you study enough so that all that examples can make sense. See you on our next lesson. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves.